3 ideas for vintage craft room storage, and I'm talking buttons today. These are going to look so good. You won't want them to be put away. You'll want them out on display all the time. So seriously, do you want to see all of your buttons all the time? If you're not in love with them, why are you keeping them? Are you honestly going to use something you don't even like? Well, I think we should sort as we're going. I like all kinds of styles and colours and things, but 99% of the time I only use the old natural ones. So as you know, I love jars for buttons. Love, love, love them. They're really practical. There are a few downsides to them. This one, when it's full, is really, really heavy. Okay, so I have some smaller ones. I actually picked up a couple recently. These here, look. So what I'm going to say to you is if you are going to keep them in jars, big ones are great, but also have little ones with good latches on them. So obviously these, which were, meant for food in the beginning, it doesn't matter to me that it's a bit rusty. That'll just clean off nicely. And I don't need the seal or anything on it. But look how robust that is. If I have buttons in there and they get knocked off the settee or, off the bed or whatever, it's not going to spill or anything, is it? Whereas this one is much more likely to do that. So that means these are much more handy for when you're moving room to room, or just when you need to be somewhere that the cats might scat them flying or something like that. So those are really good, but I don't want to just pile them in. Now I've got these. This is a little pile that's kind of accumulated over some time, and so I need to put them away. But I don't want to just put them into brass button jar and then a cream button jar. I don't want to do that. I want to make them more usable than that. So this is my way of thinking that you're actually sorting the craft room, while you're going. So, I had a few in here just now, look, and I could see that in this pot, all right, this little one here, there were these 3. They look exactly the same as the others, really, don't they? There's nothing, terrible about them. But actually, when I look at them, there's no sort of character to them. You see what I mean? They're dead plain, absolutely nothing going on. And realistically, am I going to use them? No, probably not. That one I could use so that I could cover it. But hey, I have enough buttons and things that I can cover. So I'm going to just get rid of them gently as I'm going. So what I wanted to just show you was a couple of things that I've been doing, that to me really sort of hit the mark. So one of them is I've been making these little cards. Now these really work for me. So a piece of actual card. This is from a file folder, look. I just like the colour of blue of it. I dyed some card, cut them out into these tag shapes first, dyed them with some coffee last night, and then just let them dry. So these are fine. They're perfectly usable, aren't they? But as well as use them as tags, I've also cut some out as just ordinary ones like this, look. Because that, on the blue, that's a good colour, isn't it? In fact, underneath there, you can see that it's more coffee stained. So I just thought I'd make some of these. Really nice, really easy. And I think I will actually keep that flap there still. Let's just do one now so I can show you why it works for me. Curve that end a little bit. There we are. I actually have a punch somewhere, so I could do that a corner punch. So I could do that a little bit later. A little bit better, but hey. Now this is not, mass making. This is not stash busting. It's not those things. It's not quick. It's not easy. This is slow stitching with slow tidying, with slow sorting, all that sort of thing. The thing is, I'm enjoying it. You know why we don't get round to things, don't you? That's because we don't enjoy them. If we can put some pleasure into things, then we're much, much more likely to do it, aren't we? We know that. That just stands to reason. So these I can do, if I have 5 minutes, I can do it. If I have half an hour, I can do it. But in not long at all, really, last evening. So I have my paper there. You don't have to dye it if you don't want to. And I have my card there. The reason that I'm making these into kind of envelopes is because I want this stitching to be hidden in there. And that's not just so that it looks nice. That's so that when I'm actually using it or when I'm storing it, it's not going to get caught on things and the buttons aren't going to fly off, because that's the whole point of doing this, keeping them secure. Right, I've collected a little, well, a collection, I suppose it is, isn't it, of buttons. So I could put all of the white ones on there, or I could put all the brass ones on there. But to be fair, what I like is when they're mixed, because then they look like they've been created, well, like a collection that's been created over time. It looks like they're things that you love, which these are, in all honesty, things that I love. See, there's nothing there that I don't like. But instead of putting all of those together, you see, I just think they're nicer if they're mixed up a little bit. So you can see what I've done there. I don't know that I need to show you that one particularly, do I? I've stitched them onto there. All right. The thing that I wanted to say, there were a couple of things that I realised as I was going you needed to do. So one of them is that each button will need 2 holes, even if it has a shank on the back. I haven't pushed the shank through. Can you see there? On this one, the shank's actually quite sort of crushed because it's quite old. Beautiful little button, beautiful. So a hole in and a hole out. The other thing that I wanted to show you, and I'll do one on here, is that you really need to use the loop when you start, okay? Because I really don't think we want to have the knot at the back which could pull through so easily. On this one, where there's little clips, I haven't decided to glue them or stitch them on afterwards. I've decided to do it all in one thing. So it doesn't quite fit there, does it? I need it to go there, so that that flaps over. Okay, so you do need to get your button and put it through there and put it through the loop. Okay, start off like that. I cannot tell you how much easier it will be for you if you do this. And then on this one, so I know that this one, perhaps this one's going to go here. I want 2 holes. Don't forget, 2 are going to be so much easier to do, aren't they? Before you, whoopsie. So don't forget, they're going to be so much easier if you do the holes now, pierce the actual card, rather than doing it as you're stitching. So let's get that one in there. I know my thread is too short really, but you know, I'm always doing this. And I probably will really annoy myself in a minute. So just pull it through. You know how to sew a button on. I don't need to show you that, but I do want to show you, okay, that you need 2 holes for each. And as I say, if there was a knot on there, then it's already kind of weak to start with, isn't it? And we don't want that. I want it to be strong. So the other thing is, even though I'm sewing on several buttons onto here, I'm going to go through a couple of times to make it secure. And then I am going to end it off. All right, because we may or may not use these buttons all in the same project, might we? The last thing we want is to have the other 5 or whatever flying off because we haven't finished them off properly. So finish it off at the back like this. Do you do that if your thread's short? Do you go backwards like I do? So I go through and I'm creating, I already have the loop there, look. But I don't have much room to actually pull this through, so I just go backwards through it. And it creates the knot, but uses less thread while doing it. Alright, so I've gone along and just put them all on there. Now, that's nice. The reason I wanted it like that is because, say if I put this in the jar afterwards, I might put this in here with lots of other blue bits. If I were going to do that, I don't want it sitting in there and then other things to be bashing on the back and actually undo the knots, do I? So that will fit in there absolutely fine. Look, and how nice looking is that? That's really good, isn't it? Yes, I haven't actually taken it away. I haven't really used it. What I've done is sort of half made it, I guess, made it prettier, so that then when it's in the craft room, it looks nice. I don't think anybody would say that doesn't look nice. Let me put in my full one. Oh, these clips, I found these today. Somebody commented the other day about me using clips, and I think she meant those sort. And I said, yes, I do have some. I just don't know where they are. And the reason that I don't sort of use them very often, I think, is because they don't kind of go with anything I'm doing. They're so bright. But look, don't tell me that isn't a good looking jar. I mean, it was good looking when it was filled with food in the beginning, but that's nice, isn't it? Really, really nice. So that was number one, really. Idea number one, just to put them on cards. It's not an earth-shattering idea. Lots of people have done it, I'm sure, but it's something that definitely works for me. So I'm not waiting for a project. This is the thing. I'm doing it now so that I can put it away again, and it looks good when it's there. Oh, look at that one. Look at that beautiful button. So the other thing to remember is that some of these buttons have a right and a wrong way, don't they? So that one needed to be facing up. Although if it was facing that way, actually, because the others don't have, oh, that one does, look. That one rose, that rose there is upwards as well, so it needs to be that way. So that's number one. Number two, really, is just these little tags that I sort of touched on just now. Now, when I was doing these last night, I did put some fabric in as well, and I love the way the fabric has come out. Let me show you. So it was getting on for, well, I don't know, midnight came and went, I'm sure it did. And I started off with this fabric a while ago. And it's too yellow, too buttery for me, and I almost got rid of it. I was going to just strip it to use it for ties, and then I thought, actually, I'm sure I had another one with it, and I did. I had this one, look, which is sort of, you know, the same thing reversed. So I just thought, well, okay, let's give it a go. Let's just see what some tea will do to it. Now, I tea stained it, and it didn't make that much of a difference, in all honesty. It was still kind of orangey. Tea can do that sometimes, can't it? So I decided to put it in some coffee and swell. So there's my original one. There it is with some coffee on it. And here it is with 3 lots. So I put the coffee on, dried it, put the coffee on, dried it. Look at that. How much better and more usable is this one? I think it's lovely, and I know that this is going to go with the bits and pieces that I have. So you see on this top one, that gold on there. Yeah, that's not great, is it? And the cream ones on there, yeah, they're not great either. But look at it on there. What a difference, don't you think? So this is why I'm using them with my buttons. And I also, happy accident really, this one is the one that I was using because I put them in the oven to dry, which I don't recommend. I do not recommend that to anybody, but it's what I do. I put them on there, and then when they were, you know, sort of half dry, I ironed them the rest of the way. Now this was where I had that piece on the bottom, then I had a tea towel on top, which had a kind of grid pattern on it, and that one on top. So this is where I've ironed it, and all this has come up. Isn't that lovely? I haven't actually washed this one, and I think I might not, to be honest. It should stay there. It should be quite well set, I imagine, because it's been ironed lots of times. But yeah, I'm not going to risk it because I really do like that. And this has given me lots of other ideas of how to use it as well. So, like I say, happy accident. But on this one then, I had my little tags. And I was just using strips from this. So here's a strip, look. So there are 2 that I've done. Oops. Get these out of the way. There are 2 I've done. And they are good looking tags, aren't they? They are really nice. I will absolutely use them as they are. So you could use them in the junk journal, you could use them just, gosh, wherever you want really. I could still use these the same way as the cards, I guess. I could just put them in there like that and then use the whole card on a particular project. Or I could put them in junk journals and things exactly as they are. Or I could put them in my inspiration boxes. You know me, I like shoe boxes with just colours in them. So one will have, well, that's it. So I'll have one, now that I've done these, I'll have one box that has these in it, because I like the variations to use both at the same time, and it'll have some of these, and it'll have some of the dark blue as well, which I haven't actually shown you yet properly. All right, so I'll have one box with all those things in. So they really work for me. So let's just do another one quickly, shall we? What shall we? Let's whack that on there. I always like the edges to be torn rather than cut. That's just because, you know, just the way I am. This one, I quite liked it actually on one there. Look, you see I've just tied it and put it on there. So that's quite nice at the top. Just a little quick knot there. And then torn it again on the end. Oh, good grief. You should have seen me trying to tear the yellow pages. That would have been a laugh, wouldn't it? Right. Is that a UK thing actually? Yellow pages? Don't know. Thing of the past, I think. Okay, so I put that there. I've put that on top. What else have I done on that? Oh yes, I've just had, I want a bit more of this one really, don't I? So maybe along there. And I think it's quite nice when they don't go to the edges exactly, don't you? So if that one is a little bit shy of the edge, then I'll put this one all the way. So, you know, I don't want them all lining up. And then what else have I put on there? Just a few buttons. So from here, so this is what I'm trying to get rid of. As I say, this is not quick. This is not mass producing your, you know, what do they call it? Mass making, a lot of people call it, don't they? It's definitely not that. But it's certainly really enjoyable. I need to put something on that to dull it down a little bit, don't I? Really enjoyable. And I'll put those on. That's quite nice actually. And because I enjoy it, I actually do it. So what do I reckon? That and 3 of those, maybe in the middle, something like that. Like I say, I'm not not going to get through loads of them, am I? But that's okay. So I'm just going to stitch those on in the same way. I don't think you really need to see me doing that, do you? Stitching them on. So on this one, I've just tried to keep the back really neat. You can see, look, I've actually made a hiccup here. So I need to cut that and tie it. Obviously it was hooked on something. I just need to tie it before I cut it. Yeah, the back is quite neat because, again, I don't want things to, you know, don't want other things to catch on it, that's all. So, quite happy with those. Oh, and this is just the tie at the top. Look, obviously, is a piece of this one again. So, you know me, I like to use the same sort of fabric, the same item several times on one project rather than using, you know, 4 different fabrics. I'll use the same couple several times. All right, so that on there, that one on the top. Now I actually stitched this one by, let me show you. Don't forget, don't do what I do, do as I say. Sound like any mother really, don't I? But you want to have several needles all threaded up at the same time, don't you? Because that's one of my pet peeves really, having to there we are, rethread needles several times in one project. So again, I'll get that one through the loop. That's a small one. Let's have a slightly bigger one, shall we? Make our lives easier. I think a lot of the time my my skin is so dry on my hands because of gardening that I think it just catches on things more, doesn't it? And I've been putting on copious amounts of, oh, should that one go at the top? No. Copious amounts of hand cream, but there's still a limit, isn't there? So you can go up to the top like that, and I'll catch them both in at once. That one through there, through the loop. and through there, and then there we are. On the other one, I think I probably just caught it on the loop here. And just go through it a couple times to grab that. So because I'm going to use this whole tag as it is in the future at some point, I'm not worried about starting and stopping with the buttons. I can just put them on sort of willy-nilly, really, as and where I want. Where's the other little bit of, there it is. All right, so I'll put some down there and put that one on the bottom. Let me do that really quickly, shall I? All I did was, I didn't want it all messy on the back. So I tried to hide a lot of my stitching in between. Oh, that one's come off, look. In between the pieces. So through the front. And then where my button's going to go, there, stab a couple of holes. So I have one hole already there, don't I? Stab another before I pick up my button. And go through there. This one does have a top and a bottom, so I need to be a bit wary of that. But apart from that, easy peasy. You could stick this piece of fabric down first if you wanted to. Could use a bit of glue or a bit of, actually this one goes up and down like that, yeah. So I've done my holes a little bit wrong, never mind. Need to go down and up rather than side to side. I thought I had it upright, but I did not. Okay. It's not that I'm worried about it being, you know, no stitching shown at all. It's just that if we can keep it neat, then why on earth not? It's quite heavy, so I'm actually going to do it once more because of that. Don't want it to go lopsided because of the weight. Although I'm not going to cut it, I will just knot it a couple of times. Where is it? There it is. So I want that one. You see, the trouble is, every time I look at it again, I decide to do something slightly different. Do I want this one to be all gold ones or a mixture? What if I just use another piece of this, look, as well? Yeah, okay. So just by putting that bit in, now I have the 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, don't I? Just by putting that bit in there as well. So I prefer that. Let's come up through the middle. If I am ever sewing on 3 of anything, then I always do the middle one first. Much more easy to just judge by eye then, isn't it? Do the next one a little bit to the left and then a little bit to the right. So this would be a perfect travel kind of project for me. I mean, not from the car, goodness me. If I'm in the car or on the ferry or anything like that, then I'm sick as a pig. But if you were, you know, if I was on a train or something, then I don't know anybody ever in all of history that's gotten sick on a train before, travel sick. This is the sort of thing I would do. So you just literally have a pile of these, or even just one. That's the thing, because you're ripping it up. One of those, a little box of buttons and a little box of these. And you would put the holes in before you leave, wouldn't you? It'd be very, very easy. So that's our second idea for sort of making them into things that we can later use. But because I'm not using them yet, they're also going to go into the jar. So what's next? Okay, this one. Now, we all know, we've all seen clusters, haven't we? And the thing with them for me is that I love putting the bits together, but it is definitely a separate job to actually using them. So again, if I'm just using these, and these would have gone into, well, I came out of my craft room to begin with, and I was going to throw them. Yes, that would have made room, but no. Well, I wasn't going to throw them, I was going to give them away, but that would have made room. But I'm going to put them in now so that they are perfectly usable. So you see on that one, look, this is the blue of the same fabric. I'm not the only one who thinks that's improved a million times, am I? If I am, then just I'm completely blind, but I'm happy being that way because that is just a world of difference to me, a world of difference. So when you're doing things with pieces like this, I would say my number one thing is that I always try to remember to rip off a couple of strips. All right, so this is one piece, so actually one strip, really very narrow. Oh no, it's not. I thought it was one piece. There you go. Really narrow, curls up nicely. All of that is great. I want some of those. All right, I want some of those to be able to pull these ends off because I will use them in a second. And it's weird pulling the ends off this. Look, it's not too bad, but it, you know, it gets stuck. That's fine. And then you go so far, don't you? So now it's actually quite difficult. There's only two pieces coming off there now. On the thinner bits, it just comes off so much more easily. So now I have these ties and I have a little bit of a bird's nest. I want all of that. Where's the one I've already done? There it is, look. So the same things again. This piece here is this, the reverse of that one. This is piece of this one here, which is, I took that out of the pile of the, you know, my Sunday book, my journal. Well, yes, it is a journal really, isn't it, rather than a book, or it will be by the time I've finished. So that's that one, just a strip off there. What else do I have? Some beautiful buttons and bird's nest. That's it. That's it. So I've put them on there. I've started this one, as you can see. So on this one, I mean, you can just, you know, sort of ruffle it as you're going, or put the thread through, gather it all, and then pop it down. Completely up to you. If I do this side as well, then, well, no, let me just finish this one, shall I? Okay, so what have I got there so far? I have a tiny button and that one. This so brass colour just goes so well, I think, with these. I absolutely love all the colours together. Love them, love them. So if we're going to have a bird's nest like that one, I do quite like that nest. Perhaps I need another piece there, do I? Another piece of something? Oh, look, here's another one that I put together just now. How lovely is that? I think I will finish that one. I really like that. There we are. I'll finish that one in a minute. I want something under there, don't I? Or do I just need a bigger, much bigger button? No, not you, I'm afraid. Not you. That one's nice. I want something dull. Yeah. Look at those. Aren't they beautiful? This one isn't a button, is it? It's part of yeah, a bit of jewellery finding, I think. Isn't it just lovely? Lovely, lovely. And these remind me of those. My parents had an old brass table once. It was on those collapsible wooden legs. Then this, you know, big brass piece on top. I'm sure it's a, you know, there will be a proper name for the table. Anyway, that's one of those things that I remember having literally all the time I was growing up. That's just reminded me of it. Okay, so I want a bigger bit there. Perhaps it's more of this that I need. Maybe piece going the other way. Yep, needs to be bigger than that though. So I'm sure I've said before to you, you know, what's the smallest scrap you've had kind of thing. Well, this is pretty small, isn't it? Not the smallest though. It's very small, but it's certainly worth keeping, that one. So maybe that one on there. Tucked under there with some nest. It's not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Add that to the nest. I have a real nest inside at the minute. Found it on the floor and didn't seem to be anyone around it, any parents or any little ones at all. Anyway, when I did pick it up, it was right in the middle of the grass, the cats that would have got it. But yeah, I don't know if it was empty before they before it fell to the ground. I'm hoping it was, obviously. But it's just so lovely, and I've just put it under a little cloche at the minute. It's just lovely. Right, so on this one, what am I going to do? Some more of this, I think. Love this when it's torn. It goes really stringy and kind of old. Like it like that. Really like it like that. Come on. So I could use this on one like page or whatever, couldn't I? Or I could use it in pieces. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not really a snippet roll. It's too tiny, and it's not a single snip either, single cluster, but it's somewhere in between, isn't it? I will do that one on there. Don't really want to mix that with it, to be fair. I like just the brass, 'cause it just looks like old gold, doesn't it? Actually, I might use this embroidery stuff here, partly because it's already threaded up. Let's be honest, but also yeah, it's the only one I have on there that has thread in it. So this is a cluster, which means I'm going to never see the back. However, I don't want to make it deliberately ugly on the back, do I? You do see some, just don't see loads, that's all. It's not going to catch in anything while I'm storing it then either, is it? Like I said about the other buttons and things. Hoping to do it, yeah. I wanted it to kind of, you know, cinch in a little bit. If I pull that wider. Whew. Come on. Okay, I won't be doing that there because it's just not having it, is it? Can't win them all, eh? Let me put this one on there. This is a thing. I lay something down, pick it up, and then when I actually put it on, I put it in a completely different place. Are you the same? Which, I mean, if I were doing the same thing all the time, so I guess what I ought to be doing is just picking up, placing it down, and picking up another piece. But hey, we're supposed to be enjoying it and going with the flow, aren't we? If slow stitching isn't going with the flow, then I don't know what is really. What do you call slow stitching? I think there are lots of people call lots of things slow stitching, but at the end of the day, as I say, this isn't fast, is it? So it's definitely comes under the heading of slow stitching to me, and then I'll put it up in between there to hide the actual edge. Does it show from the front? Yes, it does. That's no good. Try it again. Okay. Right, it's really taking shape, isn't it? So I don't know whether I'll use that as one piece. I might do, you know. I was just going to tear it there earlier, wasn't I? But I've gone over that point now. It doesn't matter because I could still tear it there, then just cut it there, and it'd be a, you know, little step in it, which I think would be absolutely fine. But see, it's funny. I'm really I'm not doing it purposefully, but I don't really want the reverse on there. I don't want it to be too obvious, you know what I mean? So if that little bit there is showing, I think that's fine, but I don't particularly want the actual rose to show. Oh, the rose is that way up actually. Don't really want it to show, so that's where I was putting it. Backwards really. Let me put that one there. That one there. As I said earlier, you see, I love that. Love it. I just don't want two on the same piece. Well, two would look okay, I suppose. Yeah, actually they would. Yeah, they would. They would be fine. I just don't want it to be like a set of them, you know? I don't want it to be all of these or... So, what's that? Oh, they're a strange colour, look. A bit like that one. Not keen on those. They might find a new home. And that one is lovely, but it's so shiny, isn't it? That I'll need to dull it down. And that's a really heavy piece of metal. It's like an old bowl, isn't it? Saxon bowl or something, I don't know. So I thought I'd just come back and finish this one before I turn the camera off. And I've sort of moved things a little bit. Look, I've put that one down because I didn't want it to, like I say, end, you know, I don't want all the edges to be the same place. I've broken my rule about having the rose and the rose on there. That one's upside down, so I don't think you can really necessarily, it's not strikingly obvious to me anyway. Perhaps I'm just being blind. Not strikingly obvious to me that it's the same thing, because again, that's one of, yeah, I would say, if you have things that are too matchy like that, then that's, you know, one of the things that makes it look obvious that it's modern fabric, doesn't it? Rather than bits and pieces that have been collected over the years. So just finish that one like that. I thought it looked quite nice. I wanted it to be loose. When I actually came to put it together, I thought, oh, actually, it's quite nice loose like that. So on, you know, wherever I use it, I mean, there's enough space there that you could use that as, you know, gift tag or anything, couldn't you? Absolutely fine like that. I do like that. I do like that one. Okay, so let me just finish off here. There, it's quite nice when things are sort of flapping sometimes, isn't it? Just gives your final piece a bit of life, don't you think? That's what we need, a bit of life. Why be dull? Right. Gosh, these scissors aren't very good. They're not sewing ones, so that I could use them on the card and the fabric as well. They say Safeway on them. Do we even have Safeway anymore? Don't think we do down this. Our Safeway have already been taken over by Morrison's about, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. So they're not exactly new, which is why I'm happy to use them for card and paper. Right, so Dawn, you haven't made much of a dent in it. No, I haven't. You're right. However, I am still sorting it rather than just putting them back in a pile, aren't I? So I'll carry on and do more of these later, and then whatever I use these with, I'll use those buttons with it. So I'm not going to, actually, yeah, I'll leave them out for the Sunday journal. Right. Okay, there. Oh, I need to put a bit of this on the top of that one. So that one or that one, what do you think? Take everything else away. That one or that one? Maybe just stick with the blues, and I'll put it the other way around so that it's the back that's actually showing rather than the front. So it's more like a hint of blue rather than in your face blue. I was going to, and I still will probably, on the bigger pieces of fabric that I have of this, I think I'll still take the sandpaper to it like I did on other things. There, that's not bad, is it? Okay, so what have we ended up with? Him, which looks completely out of place compared to this, but that's okay because that's not being put away with these. And then these little bits here. Let's pull them closer so we can see it all. I don't think that's too bad, do you? Now let's think about how we're going to incorporate this on Sunday. Okay, right. I hope you guys can just go away and take inspiration from that if you want. Say nothing earth-shattering, but hopefully it's just enough to make you think, yes, I'll get my fabrics out, I'll get my coffee out, a bit of card and buttons. There's so few components to this that's what makes it lovely and easy and slow but very, very, very enjoyable. Okay, see you on Sunday, guys.